In this section, we are going to look at the concept of constructors. Constructors are special types of functions which exist in multiple programming languages like Java, etc. Now, Solidity also has the concept of constructors. So, what are these constructors and when do you use them? Is that a constructor is a special type of function that runs only once in a program. When does that once happen? Is when you deploy the contract to the blockchain. Once you deploy this contract to the blockchain, nobody ever will be able to call the constructor again. So you might ask me, what is the use of doing this constructor and deploying it only once and running it only once? Where is it used, right? So let me delete this off and we'll write a constructor. First we'll look at how to write a constructor, then we'll see when it can be helpful to us, right? Now I've written a constructor using constructor variable. So you'll just say constructor and open bracket, close bracket, public, and this. So instead of using the function keyword and the name, you will just say constructor without a name and you will open bracket, close bracket and get into this. Now, what happens is usually when you create these things, right? For example, the sum is uninitiated, right? I just created or declared the variable, but I did not initiate it. Probably you might not want to initiate it or set a value to it when you write the program. But whenever you are deploying it, dynamically you want to give some input and initiate the variable, right? So in the constructor, you will be able to give something like sum is equal to 30. But this does not really make sense, right? You could have done this equal to 30 when you created the variable itself, right? For this, you can also give it as an argument. You can say integer underscore sum, right? And you can assign this sum into this variable, which means every time whenever you want to deploy this contract newly, you will initiate this sum value and the contract will get deployed. So remember that a constructor is used to initiate the values for variables, right? Now, another place where it is very important is when you want to set a owner, or let's say you want to create someone like a deployer, right? So I'll say address, right? Public, let's say owner of this contract. How do you know the owner of this contract? Whoever is deploying the contract is going to be the owner of the contract also, right? So let's say CCC57 wants to deploy this contract, he will be the owner. If the other account 4B48A wants to deploy this contract, he will be the owner. So that is going to be dynamic and hence you cannot equal to and initiate the value for this owner variable, right? So here when you come to constructor, you can say this owner is equal to message.sender. Message.sender is a global variable as we saw in the last section. And if you look at this message.sender, that's going to give you who calls the function. Now, whoever calls the deploy function is going to be the message.sender and hence they will be set as the owner, right? So that is one of the biggest use cases of this constructor function where you can initiate values for the variables and for the owner and all of that is very useful, right? Now let's deploy this and as you can see, till now we had only the deploy button. Now we have a argument that can be given into the constructor itself, right? This int sum is what is being asked for here. So let me give it as, let's say 35 and deploy. Once I deploy, what I need to look at is my owner variable. Where is my owner? This. So CCC57 who called the deploy function is the owner now, right? That's the biggest advantage of using constructors to initiate it, the values dynamically. Now go back, delete this. I just want to show you how dynamic this can change depending on the input whoever is giving. Now again I'll deploy. Once I deploy, I'll be able to go back to the owner and see that 4B48A is the address that called this and hence he became the owner, right? Then also I need to check the sum to see if it has been initiated. It has been initiated with 35 as I had given in the constructor itself, right? So that is the special type of function called as constructor, and it is used to initiate the values for variables dynamically whenever you deploy. Remember that a constructor can only run once while deployment. You cannot use this function later anytime in your program. We'll see in the next section.